Hey, I'm Lyra, and my life just turned into some kind of dark, supernatural fantasy novel. Please make sure you like and subscribe to Now in My Story, because you are not going to believe this. I've somehow found myself trapped between two ancient, immortal enemies. On my left is the Vampire King, who's ruled this town for 1,000 years. On my right is the Alpha Werewolf, his sworn enemy. And now, they're about to fight, because the one who wins gets to date me. It all started when my life fell apart, after my parents died in a car crash. I was sent to live with my only living relative, my eccentric Aunt Clara, in the most remote town I'd ever seen, Crescent Hollow. The place wasn't on most maps, hidden deep in a valley surrounded by ancient, fog-covered forests. I was the new girl, the orphan, and all I wanted to do was keep my head down, graduate, and get out of this creepy town. But the town, it was weird. Everyone was either ridiculously beautiful or terrifyingly rugged, and everyone seemed to be watching me, like I was a mouse in a cage of snakes. I got an after-school job at the local diner just to stay busy. That's where I met him. The first one. The bell on the door rang, and the entire diner, which had been buzzing with conversation, went dead silent. He walked in, and he was tall, with broad shoulders, ripped jeans, a leather jacket, and this dangerous energy that sucked all the air out of the room. He slid right into my booth and looked at me, his eyes an intense, glowing gold. "You're new," he said. It wasn't a question. His voice was a low growl. "I'm Jax." I just nodded, unable to speak. He was the most intimidating and most attractive guy I had ever seen. He just watched me. He ordered black coffee and didn't say another word, but I could feel his golden eyes on me for my entire shift. I went home that night, my hands shaking. I thought that was the weirdest part of my day. I was wrong. I was walking home through the town square, trying to make it back before the sunset. The woods around here were not safe. That's when a sleek, black, obscenely expensive car, the kind you only see in movies, pulled up beside me. The tinted window rolled down, and my heart stopped. The driver was pale, with sculpted cheekbones, perfectly black hair, and eyes. His eyes were hypnotic. A deep, piercing ruby red. He was dressed in a suit that probably cost more than my entire life. "You shouldn't be out after dark," he said. His voice was like cold, elegant silk. "It's not safe. Not for humans." He said the word human like it was an insult. "I am Damien." I just stood there, frozen. He was the king of this town. The other side of the coin. If Jax was a storm, Damien was the silent, cold night. He stared at me for a second longer, as if he was memorizing my face. And then the window slid up, and the car drove off. I ran all the way home and told my Aunt Clara I was quitting my job, and we had to move. She just sighed and finally told me the truth. Crescent Hollow wasn't a normal town. It was a sanctuary, a prison, for two warring supernatural clans, the vampires and the werewolves. Damien was the Vampire King. Jax was the alpha of the werewolf pack. They had an ancient, fragile treaty that kept them from tearing each other to shreds. And me? I wasn't just a normal girl. I was the last descendant of a peace weaver, an ancient line of humans whose blood had a unique property. It kept the supernatural urges balanced. It was the only reason the treaty had lasted this long. And now that I was here, I had become the most valuable and most dangerous person in town. My life became a living nightmare. The treaty said they couldn't fight each other, but it said nothing about me. They both started pursuing me, and it was terrifying. Damien was temptation. He'd just appear in my bedroom at night, materializing from the shadows. He'd leave priceless, ancient jewelry on my windowsill. He'd whisper about the world he could give me, "You're living in poverty, Lyra," he'd say, his red eyes glowing. "I can give you anything: immortality, power, riches. You would be my queen. You would be eternal." Part of me was horrified, but another, smaller part was tempted. He was a monster, but he was offering me everything. And then there was Jax. He was the exact opposite. He was raw, protective, and warm. He wouldn't just appear. I'd feel him. I'd be walking home from school, and I'd get the sense I was being watched. I'd look into the woods, and I'd just see those two golden eyes following me, making sure I was safe. He'd leave me different kinds of gifts. A dead rabbit on my porch, which was gross, but also a rare, beautiful forest flower. He confronted me one day by the edge of the woods. "Don't listen to that leech," he growled. "His world is cold. It's dead. Ours is real. It's passion. It's life. It's the moon." He took a step closer, and I could feel the heat rolling off him. "I can protect you. I will always protect you." He looked at me, his gaze so intense it burned. "You're my fated mate." My head was spinning. My heart was being pulled in two directions. The cold, eternal promise of the king, and the wild, dangerous passion of the alpha. I was just a human girl. I didn't know what to do. I was so scared, and so confused. But of course, not everyone was thrilled with my new popularity. Especially not Selena. She was a vampire, a member of Damien's inner circle. She was beautiful, centuries old, and she'd wanted to be Damien's queen for as long as anyone could remember. And she saw me as vermin. She cornered me in the school library. "You think you're special, human?" she hissed, her eyes turning red. "He may be blind to what you are, but I'm not. You smell like a wet dog. You're ruining everything. He is mine." I tried to back away, but she was impossibly fast. "I'm going to remove the temptation." Her fangs extended. She lunged at me, and I screamed. But before she could touch me, a blur of motion slammed into her, sending her crashing through a bookshelf. It was Jax. He stood over me, snarling, his claws extended, and his eyes glowing pure gold. "Get away from her, leech!" A split second later, Damien was there. He hadn't used the door. He was just there. He grabbed Selena by the throat, lifting her off the ground. His face was pure, cold fury. "You dare touch her!" The library was a wreck. Vampires and werewolves were suddenly appearing from everywhere. Drawn by the confrontation, the treaty was being broken. Right here, in public. Jax snarled at Damien. "This is your fault. Your monster attacked her." Damien's eyes were glowing with rage. "She is under my protection, dog." "No!" Jax boomed, his voice echoing. "She's under mine." He pointed a clawed hand at Damien. "This truce is a joke. It's over. We settle this the old way. The ritual of combat." Damien's cold smile was terrifying. "You would challenge a king? For a human girl? I would challenge the devil himself. She's my mate." Damien looked at me then. Not as a person, but as a thing. A possession. "Fine. The ancient laws will be honored." His voice was cold and final. He was speaking to the entire crowd of vampires and werewolves now. "We will fight. On the next blood moon, the one who wins will claim her. Claim me. Not date me. Not be with me. Claim me. Like a piece of property." My blood ran cold. I wasn't a person. I was a prize. A trophy to stop a war, and the fight was set. The next week was torture. I was a prisoner in my own home. For my own safety. Both sides were preparing for this fight to the death. They weren't fighting for me. They were fighting for their pride, for their ancient primal hate for each other. I was just the excuse. The night of the blood moon arrived. The moon was huge and red in the sky. I was brought to a clearing in the woods, a sacred place of stone ruins where the treaty allowed for this. The vampires and werewolves were on opposite sides. A sea of glowing red and gold eyes. It was silent. Damien and Jax stepped into the center, and they began. It was horrific. It wasn't a schoolyard brawl. It was a fight between monsters. Damien was a blur, impossibly fast. His attacks precise, but Jax was stronger, a beast of pure rage. His claws tearing through the air. They were trying to kill each other. It was brutal. Damien threw Jax through a stone pillar. Jax tackled Damien, his claws raised for the final blow. Damien staked him in the shoulder with a sharpened piece of ancient wood. They were both bleeding, weakening, but fueled by pure, blinding hate. "She's mine!" Jax roared, lunging again. "She belongs to me!" Damien hissed, dodging. Something inside me snapped. "No!" I screamed, my voice echoing with a power I didn't recognize. I ran into the middle of the fight. They both froze, shocked, bloodied. "Lyra, get back!" Jax yelled. "She is not a thing!" I screamed, tears of pure rage streaming down my face. "I am not a prize. I am not yours. I don't belong to anyone." As I screamed the last word, a wave of energy, like pure white gold light, erupted from me. It slammed into both of them, sending them flying backward. The ground shook. The prophecy, the Peace Weaver, wasn't just about special blood. It was about power. My power. A power that could control them both. All around the clearing, every vampire and every werewolf dropped to their knees, shielding their eyes from the light. I stood between Damien and Jax, shaking, not with fear, but with this new power. "This is over," I said, and my voice didn't even sound like mine. This hate, it ends tonight. You don't get to fight over me. You don't get to claim me. And you definitely don't get to date me." They just stared at me, not with hunger or possession, but with awe. I had done what no one had done in 1,000 years. I had stopped them both. Cold. Damien stood up slowly, wiping the blood from his mouth. She's right. This is madness." Jax pulled the wooden stake from his shoulder, wincing, but his eyes never left me. The prophecy. It wasn't about possessing her. It was about her. I wasn't their prize. I was their new queen, or their new problem. I was the only one in town who was more powerful than the Vampire King and the Alpha Werewolf. The fight was over. I had won. But now, I had a choice to make. I had a Vampire King and an Alpha Werewolf, both of whom now had to earn my forgiveness. My life was even crazier than before. I wasn't the human girl trapped between two monsters. I was the one in control. What do you think? After all that, should I even think about forgiving either of them? And who would you even choose? The cold-hearted king or the hot-headed alpha? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And while you're waiting for my next story, check out this other crazy one that YouTube thinks you'll love. See you next time.